Okay, in these next examples, I'm going to try to go through them as quick as possible. What I have an equation where I need to get y by itself. I'll do so first, and I'm going to make that a negative y. I'm going to move my 4x over by subtracting 4x from both sides. I have negative y equals negative 4x plus negative 3. Now I'll divide by a negative 1 so that I get rid of the negative part of the y. So I end up with y equals negative over negative is a positive 4x, and negative over negative is a positive 3. What that tells me is that my slope is 4, and my b, or my y-intercept, is 3. So I'll write that underneath there again. Y-intercept is 3. So here's my y-axis. Here is 3 on the y-axis. I plot that first. My slope is going to be defined as a fraction of 4 over 1. Rise over run. It can also be defined as negative 4 over negative 1. Remember, negative over negative is positive. So I could go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Or I could go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Notice how no matter what, I get a positive slope. Positive slope looks like this. That is climbing. The next example, I want to solve for y again. I will do so by moving my negative 2x to the other side. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So I get negative y equals 2x plus 6. Divide by negative 1. Y equals negative 2x plus negative 6. Well, my slope in this case is negative 2, and my b is negative 6. Here is my b, my y-intercept. My y-intercept is negative 6. I plot that first. And then my slope is negative 2. Well, I need that to be a fraction. Negative 2 over 1. Or the other way I denote that is 2 over negative 1. Both of those say negative 2 when reduced. This first one, I go down 2, 1, 2, to the right 1. The second one, I would do up 2, rise 2, to the left 1. That would be negative 1. Notice no matter what, I get a negative slope. My next example, I need to do a little bit more solving for y before I can graph it. So it looks like I'm going to change my signs plus the opposite. I'm going to add 4x to both sides. I get negative 2y equals 4x plus 8. Divide by negative 2. I get y equals, this would be a negative 2x plus negative 4. So that means my m is negative 2 and my b is negative 4. Plot your negative 4 first on your y-axis. There it is. Slope is described as negative 2 over 1 or 2 over negative 1. So I could go down 2, that's negative 2, over to the right 1, that's positive 1. Or I could go up 2 to the left 1, up 2 to the left 1. There's negative slope. I did have a negative slope, but it's going down. The next example, again, I'm going to solve for y. I'm going to add 3x to both sides. I get 2y equals 3x plus negative 6. Divide by negative 2. 3 doesn't divide evenly into 2, so I have 3 halves x plus negative 3. My slope is 3 halves, and my b is negative 3. I do not need to do anything with that 3 halves. I will plot this y-intercept first. My y-intercept is negative 3. And then I'm going to use my slope of 3 over 2. Rise over run. So I'm going to rise 3 and run 2. Or I could fall 3 and go to the left 2. Fall 3 and go to the left 2. Negative over negative is also positive. Notice how I end up with a positive slope. You're going to continue practicing these on your own. Here's one for you. We can do one more in class. We can talk about other things that you might have difficulties with. Make sure and come with questions.